Hello everyone, my name is Renewable from Bloomberg 56 SBMIT. Today I'll be discussing energy and its critical role in development, especially for rural areas in Indonesia. I would call it small-scale renewable energy solution in rural Indonesia. To understand this, we need two things first, energy and rural itself. Let's take a look. Energy. Energy powers almost every aspect of modern life, from our homes and transportations to the tools that we use at work and school. Our demand for energy is rising as technology advances and our lifestyle become more energy dependent. We can see in the graphics here, the energy demand rises after the industrial age revolution from 1800s up to now. The energy rise exponentially. However, energy access is still uneven across many parts of the world, especially in developing countries like Indonesia. Let's see. Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world, with over 270 million people, but the population is not evenly distributed. Most people live on Java, Sumatra, Sulawesi, and Kalimantan. Consequently, the energy demand is heavily concentrated in these major islands. These regions benefit from more development infrastructure and greater government investment. However, many other islands with small populations are often left behind. Facing limited access to electricity, this imbalance creates a major hurdle in achieving equal development across the nations. As you can see, 40% of Indonesia's population resides in Java Islands. That means, well, there are other peoples in other islands, right? In 7,000 habitated island in Indonesia, but the one who is getting more electricity is only Java. To match the demand, power plants are primarily located in high population, high demand regions. These leave many remote and smaller islands with unreliable or even no electricity at all. The centralized nature of Indonesia's power infrastructure makes it inefficient and expensive to deliver electricity to areas of low population density or difficult terrain. This gap in power availability also means a gap in opportunities for education, healthcare, and local economic growth in rural regions. You can see here in the map that almost energy supply power plant in Java is more than all energy plants in Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and Papua combined. This creates imbalance in the power supply as well. And rural itself. Let's take a look. Energy. Energy powers almost every aspect of modern life, from our homes and transportations to the tools that we use at work and school. Our demand for energy is rising as technology advances and our lifestyle become more energy dependent. We can see in the graphics here, the energy demand rises after the industrial age revolution from 1800s up to now. The energy rise exponentially. However, so what happened in rural areas? Let's take a look at the demand side. The population in those areas is scarce, right? As mentioned before. When the population is scarce, then the energy demand within that community is low as well. So the demand is low. For business, when the demand is low, I think it's not economic for them to supply those areas. But if we want to supply, then there is a way. That's why we need to look at the supply cost. Transmitting an electrical energy from reach point from Java perhaps to other rural areas requires ways, right? Right now there are three ways. The first is transmitting electricity via submarine cables, building fossil fuel power plant, and other alternatives. When transmitting electricity via submarine cables, it is one solution. However, this comes with immense financial and technical challenges. Underwater high voltage transmission, known as submarine cabling, is currently only viable method for such long distance energy transfer. These cables are extremely costly to install and maintain, especially over long distance and deep waters. Furthermore, electricity must be used as it is produced. It cannot easily be stored at scale, making such investment questionable in areas with inconsistent or low energy demand. Coal and plant coal plant limitations. Building traditional coal-fired power plants in remote areas may seem like a solution, but it poses significant logistical and environmental challenges. Supplying coal consistently to remote area increase both cost and carbon footprint. Moreover, coal power is increasingly being phased out globally due to its environmental impact. So, for us as a community, this is not good way to move forward. Well, then there are renewable energy. A more effective and sustainable approach is the use of renewable energy to provide localized solution for rural electrifications. Renewable energy source. Let's take a look at the pros and cons. Different types of renewable energy have different characteristics. Wind energy. It has potential but depends on the consistent wind speed and comes with high infrastructure costs. It is best suited to coastal and high altitude regions with stable wind conditions. Hydropower. Hydropower is location specific and requires reliable river flow or dams, making it unsuitable for drier or flatter regions. Geothermal energy. Now this is promising. It's highly promising in Indonesia due to its volcanic geography, the Ring of Fire of course. However, it demands high upfront investment and faces regulatory and land use challenges. We cannot just open a forest and then mine or dig in there. We need to have permits, we need to have administration's clearance, or we need to have local support as well. Unless all of that is completed, then we will have ethical issues. Now, the last one is solar energy. It stands out as the most viable options. It is abundant, scalable, and less location dependent. Solar panels can be deployed almost anywhere with sufficient sunlight, making them ideal for diverse and scattered geography of Indonesia. Renewable energy source. Let's take a look at the pros and cons. Different types of renewable energy have different characteristics. Wind energy. It has potential but depends on the consistent wind speed and comes with high infrastructure costs. It is best suited to coastal and high altitude regions with stable wind conditions. As we can see that small-scale solar is the best way that can be used in rural areas. There are three ways to use the solar to generate electricity. The first way is concentrated solar thermal, or can be concentrated solar thermal. Use concentrated sunlight to generate heat, which then drives the turbine for electricity. While PV technology, which is photovoltaics, including thin film and silicon UV, directly convert sunlight into electricity. But thin film, as it mentioned, it's thin, right? Because it's thin, we need to have a large area that covers. We need to cover a large area with thin film so that it can generate electricity that is quite big to be used in our daily life. However, there are silicon wafer PV. Silicon wafer PV is more compact, it's more thick, but it can generate the same amount of electricity with thin film. This silicon wafer PV offers more practical and scalable solutions. Small-scale solar installations like rooftop panels or community microgrid can be just enough to power the electricity energy demands in that area. They can be customized to household or village needs and are easier to install in remote locations. This adaptability makes them an excellent option for powering rural areas that national grid cannot reach efficiently. It's a perfect solution, right? But if we take a look again, it's not without its difficulties. Despite this promise, small-scale power adoptions face real barriers. The first one, cost. A full solar panel system can cost between 32 to 75 million Indonesian rupiah. In comparisons, the average monthly income in rural areas is about 12 million Indonesian rupiah, making this technology financially out of reach for many households, right? Logistic. The second one is logistic. Transporting and installing solar equipment in remote regions is difficult due to poor infrastructure and challenging geography. Even though that one small solar panels is manageable to be carried with just a car or maybe two people using motorcycle, but for the rural areas, getting solar panels there is quite challenging. We need to see whether the courier is there or not, whether the areas can be reached by land or not, and things like that. So it's quite difficult. The third one is the knowledge gap. Many rural communities lack awareness of renewable technologies and the technical knowledge to operate and maintain the system, which could lead to underutilizations or system failure. They have no electricity in the first place, which means their connections to the global information is quite limited. Hence, bringing this to them, and they need to be taught, they need to be guided for this to work. But I believe we can overcome these difficulties. Overcoming these challenges requires cooperation among multiple stakeholders. The government and public sector, the state-owned enterprise, the non-government organizations, the investors, the community, they need to work together for this project to work. The first one, the government. They must create clear and supportive policies, including subsidies for equipment and installations. State-owned enterprise and private investors should fund pilot projects and offer innovative financing options so that the people can get the solar panels first. NGOs and community organizations can help with training and outreach, ensuring that communities are informed and empowered. Educational programs and local energy workshops are essential to build technical capability and promote a sense of ownership over this infrastructure. If Indonesia can get this right, the energy and energy access is proven driver of economic growth. Research by Sharma in 2010 shows a strong correlation between energy availability and national GDP. With electricity, small businesses can run longer and more efficiently. Farmers can irrigate crops, preserve foods, and process goods. Schools can operate with lights and computers. Health clinics can refrigerate medicine, print equipment, and offer better care. Community-based energy systems give people a stake in that development, fostering resilience and sustainability. And lastly, we can create internet provider towers. We can create telecommunication towers that will strongly develop the ability of that rural community to connect it to the world or global informations. To summarize, Indonesia's rural areas face unique energy challenges due to geography, infrastructure limitations, and financial constraints. Small-scale, renewable decentralized solutions, especially solar power, offer a sustainable and inclusive path forward. By embracing this approach, supported by policy, education. To summarize, Indonesia's rural areas face unique energy challenges due to geography,